going on, boss? At a 1 o'clock appointment, Nissan ALTIMA.
And that is for a windshield?
That's correct.
All right. And you said you're waiting?
Yeah, I'm on way here.
No problem. Just need your key, sir.
Gotcha. I'll move it right here and get something out the car real quick.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you. It was America's most popular Japanese car. No, I'm not talking about the Toyota Camry. No, I'm not talking about the Honda Accord. This car right here was the #1 car when it came to hood ratchet activities. Nothing beats this car. Well, at one point it was the Buick LeSabre. Shout out to your boy Black Car Guru. We'll talk about him later on. But that car was replaced by this car right here. And I got it. And then the inevitable happened. I did something completely stupid. And as much as I talk shit about the hood ratchet activities of the Nissan ALTIMA, I guess karma bit me in the ass, pause. Because I became the product of it. So, what exactly happened? Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Today's video is sponsored by Blackhawk007.com, your new automotive news website. Make sure if you want to see more videos like these, car news and car reviews, make sure to check out Blackhawk007.com. Here's a tour of the website. Blackhawk007.com is your new automotive news website compared to that of Car and Driver, Road and Track, Motor Trend, Car Scoops. This is your new automotive news website for all of your car news and car reviews, from U.S. automaker news to non-U.S. automaker news as foreign news, and a dedicated page for all of your Mopar news articles as well too. Tips on what and what not to do when buying and selling a car, consumer stories, spy photos of future vehicles, videos as well too, future products coming out in 2026, product reviews, all that here on Blackhawk007.com. Blackhawk007.com is your new automotive news website. Check it out for all of your automotive needs. We have the newest vehicle that I have ever reviewed on this channel, so I'm quite excited about that. And this is a 2015 Nissan ALTIMA 2.5S, and this is the base model, and it is a really nice car, and everything was perfectly fine with it. So I got it off of a homie of mine and stuff like that. And I was driving, music, cruising, and I didn't realize that the hood latch was in the release position because the hood was closed flush. So I didn't think anything of it. I'm driving, I'm cruising, and next thing you know, it was a Jet 2 holiday special. The fucking hood flew up and hit my damn window. What a rookie mistake, right? I was pissed about that. As you can see, he put these truck straps on there, so it ain't going nowhere. But that's where we're at today. We are at this place right here, Delaware Auto Glass. So we're gonna get the window fixed, and after that, we'll do a little tour of the vehicle. I'll show you all the features of this vehicle inside and out. We'll take it on a test drive, and we'll give it the official Blackhawk report card. We're gonna give it a grade on a scale of 1 to 10. You know how it go. We're gonna look at the features. We're gonna look at all of the drive. We're gonna look at the quality. We're gonna go over the design. We're gonna go over the fun factor. We're gonna go over all of those things on a report card, and we'll grade it 1 to 10 for a total score out of 100. Of course, anything over 100, which will be very rare to see on the channel, will be Blackhawk certified. It'll be above an A+. It's very rare that you'll see a car in this channel that'll probably even get A+, but to get Blackhawk certified, the car has to be that special. So let's get into it. So a little backstory, right? I first got a 2011 Nissan Maxima. The homie with me to check it out, and he said, well, oh my God, what is this? How much do you want for it? So we agreed to a number. He got the car. I was getting ready to do a brief review on it, but the alternator went on the vehicle. It needed an alternator. So
I went to AutoZone, got the alternator. I was going to do a review on that car. And then he told me he had a car. I said, well, what do you have? And he said, boom, he got the 2015 Nissan ALTIMA. He took me down to his house. We checked it out. And boom, now I got it. I'll have it with me. I'll be driving around. I'll tell you how the whole experience is throughout the week, how good it is on gas, fuel economy, good, all those things. And we'll be discussing the most controversial thing, which is the CVT transmission. That's not to say that everyone is bad, but this is the most controversial talked about topic as far as, you know, the one thing that most people like to stay away from. But when it comes to Nissan ALTIMA, it doesn't matter. Everybody wants one. So what is it that they love about this car so bad? All right, let's talk about the exterior features of the 2015 Nissan ALTIMA. And let's start with the first one, the biggest. Dual exhaust. Did your Toyota Camry or Honda Accord have dual exhaust? No, it did not. You know why? Because you had to opt for the V6 to get it. This is the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. Yes, fun fact. Every Altima started at 2013 when they redesigned it for the 4th generation, okay? That's this one right here, came standard with dual exhaust, okay? This is another reason why these cars are fast like a bat out of hell. Yes, it does help increase the horsepower, okay? And another thing that we're going to talk about as far as horsepower is concerned is the design of the car, okay? This is really important, okay? We'll talk about it in a minute. Now, this is the base model, so bare bones. So it didn't come with a backup camera, but every Nissan ALTIMA came standard. Yes, this came standard with remote start. Did your Honda Accord or Toyota Camry come standard with remote start? No, it did not. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't work. Why? Because the hood still has to be replaced, that little bulge in the hood. And it's a pretty interesting feature, okay? So basically what happens is, if it thinks that all the doors open, it will not do the auto start. It will not do the remote start. Two things. All the door has to be closed flush and the car has to be locked. But because it thinks the hood is open, it won't do the remote start. The second thing is this right here. Every Altima came with the key fob. Every Altima came with, you hold the button right here, you open up the trunk, and you have access to the storage space over here. Okay, these little two things right here, this right here, you pull this back and you'll have extra cargo space inside of the back if you ever needed to haul something longer, and if you needed something bigger than that, you just gotta get an SUV or a truck. But other than that, it has pretty sizable cargo space in there if you need it, especially around the Christmas time. A lot of y'all like to scratch up your roof, putting a Christmas tree up there. This car, nope. Push the passenger seat all the way up, fold the seats down, 60-40 split, put the Christmas tree in there, and hey, maybe that's all the length that you need. I think most trees are a little longer than that, so just put a cloth, a nice little blanket or something on your roof. Or just don't put it on your car at all, y'all. I never understood why we did that, but we did it. But anyway, I have teamed up with Buy This Car ASAP. Yes, and you can buy this car ASAP for a cool price of $4,500. Price is negotiable, they said. But why have I teamed up with them? Because if you want a nice, cool, perfect running, no issues 2015 Nissan ALTIMA, you can reach out to Buy This Car ASAP and give them the coupon code Blackhawk, and they will give you a discount on this car, and I mean a big one, okay? So make sure you reach out to Buy This Car ASAP. You can also reach out to them on Instagram, tell them Blackhawk sent you, and DM them with the coupon code Blackhawk, okay? Send them the link to this video as a verification proof that this is where it was sent from, and they're going to hit you with that discount, okay? So, and if you do, hey, send it to me. Let me know who it is. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll shoot a video with you, put you on the channel. But it's a really nice running car. But this is a really great feature. So another interesting feature of this vehicle is the design of the car. Let's talk about that. The newer a car gets, they want to work on something that's called coefficient drag. And Nissan did not come to play any games when it came to the design of this Nissan ALTIMA. If you look at all the curves, all of that is to help efficiency. And look at it this way. The more it helps efficiency, the less drag that it puts on your car. So your car can actually go faster. So we're talking about a CVT that essentially has no gears. That helps with your torque. Yes, it does. Then you have standard dual exhaust. That helps with your horsepower. Yes, it does, because there's more travel that the exhaust, you know, the air is coming out and stuff like that. That really helps. You know what I mean? So when all that pressure is coming from the engine, then it's going through the intake, then it's going through past your flex pipe, then it's going through the catalytic converter, and all that is that exhaust, all that smoke is just jammed in one thing. You know, when you have more directions for it to go out, you know, it makes your car more efficient, therefore it makes your car actually faster. And these cars are fast like a bat out of hell for a 4-cylinder. And mind you, it's naturally aspirated, okay? Naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, no turbos. You understand what I'm saying? And then the design of the car, it's a very flowing design. They did that on all their cars around this time. The Maximas, the Sentras, they basically had their Audi moment. Every car looked like a rendition of the next car. The Versa looked like the Sentra. The Sentra looked like the Altima. The Altima looked like the Maxima. This was a period where Nissan locked in on their design language, okay? And it was beautiful. Beautiful design here. We're talking standard chrome door handles. You know, these are things you don't find. Look at this. Matching body color hubcaps. Minus that one right there. But we're not going to talk about that. There it is right there. So very fluid design, if that's, you know, what you want to call it, okay? And it's very, very curvaceous. It's a lot of hip game right here. You got a lot of curves on these hips. You feel me? I say some of the most beautiful women come out of Nissan Altimas. So yeah, it definitely helped with the coefficient drag. We could look that up later on. I could tell you what the coefficient drag is if you must know. But yeah, it definitely helped. Body design does help with horsepower. You know, the way that they design it, they take the car through a wind tunnel, and you know, that's how they test the coefficient drag. You can see the way the wind is traveling and stuff like that. A lot of people, every automaker does this, you know, because that helps with your fuel efficiency as well too. Think of like the boxy Chevy Tahoes, you know, where they had almost like no miles per gallon, freaking 17 miles per gallon city and 19 highway, like, you know, really gas guzzlers. They weren't the best on, you know, efficiency. You understand what I'm saying? Especially coefficient drag. Don't even put those in the tunnels. They're boxes. But cars like this, they're very curvaceous and stuff like that. And then, you know, when you're pushing against the wind and stuff like that, you have a reduced coefficient drag based on the curvaceous and flowing design language of this car. And this is what Nissan did all throughout their entire lineup around this time. Nissan was in the game. They was not playing around. This was the first car right here that Nissan had a consistent design language. Everything was pretty much all over the place. You had nice designs, but you didn't have a uniform design until the 2013 model year, when Nissan started redesigning their entire lineup of sedans. Even the SUVs, it carried over to the SUVs. If you look at the Maxima and the Nissan Murano, they had a very similar flagship design language and stuff like that. So even the Nissan Pathfinder, that curvaceous, I didn't like that Pathfinder, I'm not gonna lie. That definitely looked like a mommy SUV. I'm not here for that. And I kind of blame the Pathfinder, you understand what I'm saying, for essentially destroying the minivan. Because Nissan had a minivan at one point, the Nissan Quest. That thing was so retrolicious, okay? I couldn't tell, you know, I didn't know what to call it, whether to call it an MPV. It wasn't a traditional size. You know, it had a fat V6. It was fast as hell. You know, they came standard with a V6, you know, but as time went on, a lot of mommies, families, they wanted something. They didn't want something that was the definition of mommy. They didn't want the vehicle that looked like you was taking your kids to soccer practice. So instead of buying a minivan, you would buy yourself a Nissan Pathfinder. And the Pathfinder was very included in Nissan's flowing design language. So that helped as well too, especially if you have a V6 engine in the car. That helped a lot. So Nissan, I think, did a really great job on the design of this car. All right, everybody, let's go over all of the interior features on the 2015 Nissan Altima. Okay, let's go back so you understand the significance of what I'm about to tell you. Driver's seats. Okay, the 2002 Nissan Altima had a base model, which was the 2.5S. That's what this is for the 2015 model year. Okay, and it had manual seat adjuster. But if you upgrade it to the SL trim, with the luxury trim, you got a power seat on the driver's side. Okay. I believe it was a driver's, no, only on the driver's side. But that was the same sequence, okay, all the way up until the 2012 model year. When they redesigned it in 07 to 2012, same thing. But in 2013, when they redesigned the model, this Altima right here, 2013, this is the 2015 model year, all trims came with a power seat for the driver's side. This is the base model, bare bones base model, okay? So that was a pretty interesting feature on this car. Standard power driver seats, okay? Another feature that was pretty cool on this car, all Nissan Altimas from 2013 going up had standard features such as you had your cruise control, you had Bluetooth, okay? In this one right here, this is a very bare bones base model. You had one with a small screen backup camera, okay? That was like if you get like the SV trim and stuff like that. But if you upgrade it to the V6 model, like the big dog, okay, you got the big navigation screen. Okay, so they had the big navigation screen. They had a small backup camera. This one don't have a backup camera. This is the bare bones base model. You just get a small little screen right here, and then you have your different tuner presets right here. You have your FM right here. You have your AM right here. Came with a CD player and aux. Okay, this is when you switch to the aux mode. So not only did you get Bluetooth, all of the trims, whether it was the navigation package or whether it was the bare bones base model, all the Nissan Altimas came standard with Bluetooth. You just had to use this right here. You had to use this driver button right here to pair your phone. And you could use it. You could start it, hang up. So that's why all the Altimas from the base model to the top trim got the same steering wheel. You got your cruise control right here. On and off cruise control, your volume controls. You can adjust the volume on the steering wheel. Very safe feature if you don't want to reach over, stuff like that. And this right here, you use to switch your different screens inside of the cluster right here. Okay, this is like the go back a screen. So in this right here, you can switch it to like different, like from radio to. It basically does what this does right here without you hitting these buttons. So that was a pretty decent feature. Higher trim models had dual climate control. This one is pretty singular. So you had 3 different options to choose from. You had the aux, you could plug your phone in like that. You had the CD player, okay. You had a regular standard radio, but you had to settle for that. But every Altima came with Bluetooth. Every Altima came with Bluetooth. That was a pretty interesting feature right here. All Altimas came with push button start. That was a feature that started on an Altima ever since the 2007 model year. You would hit this right here, hold your foot on the brake, and then the car would start. Okay, just like that. So that's a pretty interesting feature. USB, okay. You didn't have USB. You had to settle in for the aux. But if you upgraded to not even the SL, if you upgraded to the SV trim, the SV trim got you power seats on the driver and the passenger side. Not leather seats, they were still cloth, but you had power seats on both sides of the car. If you upgrade to the SL trim, then you got heated leather seats. Okay. So that was pretty much, these are really basic 2.5 naturally aspirated four cylinders, no turbo. The car did what it does. It has, yes, it has the CVT, but this was, by the time I got to the 23 model year, Nissan got its kinks out and kind of figured that out. The Altima, the '07 Altima, this was the first time that Nissan debuted the CVT transmission. So yeah, it's going to have those problems. And do you think they fixed that on a facelift? Hell no, they didn't. But by the time the 2013 came, they pretty much ironed all those issues out. You still have some that has CVT problems, stuff like that. But like I said, the thing with Nissan is either it lasts forever or it's seconds from going to the grave. There's no in between. So when you're looking at a used car, just check it out, man. If you don't know what you're doing, bring a mechanic or bring somebody that knows what they're talking about. You know what I mean? That knows what to look for. I don't give a fuck about what they're talking about. Talk is cheap. Bring somebody that knows what they're looking for. And if you're looking at a car, listen, this is what I tell everybody, you know, checking out cars for dummies. Okay? Sounds, feels, and smell. If it don't sound right, don't buy it. If it don't feel right, don't buy it. If it don't smell right, don't buy it. And what are we looking for? Fumes and all stuff like that. You know, that's not rocket science. That's very basic. So, you know what I mean? If something seems off, ask questions. You know, if you don't feel comfortable, don't make the purchase. What the seller gonna do? I've had plenty of cars people come check out. They took it through all this tests, was looking at it, and then they say they don't want it. That's their obligation, because once they buy it, that's it. It's yours as is. You know, if you're a private owner, you're selling the car as is. If you get it from a dealership and their disclaimer is as is, you own the car. So, you know, these are really cool cars and they will last you a very long time. As you can see, this is a 10-year-old car. I still see '02s out on the road. We're talking about 23-year-old Altimas still out on the road. I see more of those damn things than I see the '02 Honda Accord counterparts. I don't even really see any '03s, the '06. Honda went through 3 facelifts for that Accord. Same engine, same bulletproof motor, and same garbage ass transmission. If you don't know how to drive manual, don't buy a Honda. Honda got the best motors. Nissan got good motors too, especially the V6s. This is the 4-cylinder. But the motor was not the issue of Nissan. The issue was the transmission. So do you want a used Honda? Do you want a used Nissan? Either way, you got to weigh your options on that individual car. See, what I'm trying to teach y'all, ladies and gentlemen, is it doesn't matter about the brand identity or the loyalty or whatever JD Power Associates says. Those motherfuckers get paid to rank these brands at a certain position, okay? What matters is the driver. Carfax ain't gonna tell you shit. Carfax is the biggest scam in automotive history. It gives you past history on vehicles, and you don't get anything reported to Carfax if you don't get it done at a major shop like Meineke or AutoZone or the dealership. You understand what I'm saying? If a mechanic is working on your car and doing oil changes, that's not going to show up on fucking Carfax. It'll show up, though, if you do it at a dealership, because they report to Carfax. Those major institutions report to Carfax. So don't go off of Carfax at all, period. You want to look up a VIN and make sure it's not stolen. That's the least you can do for your due diligence. Now that's fine. You know what I mean? For that, it's worth it. But if you look at anything mechanical, it ain't got shit to do with how the car's running right now. So make sure you do that, man. You know, you have these over here. I don't know if you can see these pretty well, but you have your lights up here. These were your reading lamp lights, of course. I always remind y'all, please do not have these on while you're driving so you don't get pulled over. This is the door dome light, okay? So like if you open up the door, the lights will be on, and then when you close it, the lights will eventually go off, okay? So all the lights will cut on. This is your hazard light button right here. Very sectioned off, very safe, very easy to find. You don't have to be looking for it when your mind is looking somewhere else. It's right there. Boom. Big ass hazard button. Can't go wrong with that. So that's pretty cool right here. Just for your CD player, you had the seek, and then you had the track right here. Very simple. Next track, previous track. You would hit up for the previous track, and then you would hit down for the next track. Display. This is the button that you would hit right here if you want to just turn the screen off. You don't want to look at the screen. You would hit this button right here. Like say, if you want to change your EQ settings, like your bass, your treble, your balance, your fade. So all that stuff, that's good stuff right there. Take my glasses off real quick. AC button. Then you have your regular controls. You have your face and the foot. You have the foot only, and then you have the foot and the defrost. You have the front defrost. You have the rear defrost. And this basically just changes the motion on the wind travel coming from the air or the heat. These right here, you have right here your park, reverse, drive, and then you have drive stick. Nissan made this stupid button manual shifter right there, where you would when you have in the stick mode, you would hit this button right here, and then you can just go to the next gear. You couldn't downshift, but the button was only good for upshifting. So that's pretty interesting. Everything else is pretty much straight to the point. You have very huge compartment space back here. I mean, this thing is like huge. Look at that, y'all. Huge. Like I could put a kitten in, 2 kittens in here. I could put like 4 kittens in here. Don't put no kittens in here, y'all. But what's very interesting about this is inside of here is a trunk lock. Nissan was thinking about valet. Remember I told you valet was a thing, really an important thing. Nissan used to provide a red key for the valet and a black key for the driver. If you go on vacation, you park your car at a hotel, you would give the valet the red key so they wouldn't have access to your glove compartment, and so you wouldn't have access to your trunk. Okay, but Nissan no longer provided that valet key because now you have these right here, because now that it's push button start. Okay, push button. So what did they do? Nissan said, we're going to put a trunk lock switch inside of here. You would click this right here, and then you would not be able to open up the trunk. You can lock this up, and to get access to that, what you would do right here, what this is, you would basically pull this right here, this release lever, leave it in position, and you would pull this out, and you would use this to lock your glove compartment to keep the burglars from stealing the items out your car. Also, we have right here, this was for your sunglass visor. So instead of me putting this right here, I could put this right inside of here. Put my sunglasses in there, put my glasses in there. So yeah, y'all probably seen these because I know the peanut gallery in the comment section is going to say, well, he had a Bluetooth FM transmitter here. Guys, I'm just charging my damn phone, okay? Knock it out. So also, did you hear that click just now? That is because after a certain amount of time, your Nissan will auto lock. So make sure your keys not in the car. Nissan has a tendency of doing that. So that's pretty much that. The features are pretty basic in this car. We'll look at the cargo space inside of the trunk as well too. And then at some point we'll take it for a test drive, and we're gonna do road test. We'll see how the bumps are. We'll see how the acceleration is. We'll check out the handling, all that good stuff. The same could be said as far as convenience features. They were very basic as far as for the back seat. You can fold the seats down. I believe these were 60-40 split. Yes. Then you had your cup holders. Okay. You had your cup holders. You would pull that down. You have access to that. Boom, boom, boom. And I believe you could access the trunk as well too, from the back here. So, but there was a few ways that you could open up to have access to the trunk. So right through that back seat, there was a little cuppy door back there. Let me double check that, make sure. No, this one didn't come with it. Okay. I could have swore they did. So correction, it didn't come with a cuppy door. The access to the trunk. So you just hit this button right here, and then off you go. There was a second button right there to open up the trunk right there. You push the button on the side, left side of the driver door, and then that'll open up the trunk as well too. But remember, if the switch is in the lock position inside of the glove compartment, can't open up the trunk. So that was some pretty decent features. But more importantly, how does this vehicle drive? We're going to find that out. The thing that's so special about these Nissan Altimas is the instant torque that you get from having a CVT, because there's essentially no gears. You know, like if I just stop at it, look at that, just instant takeoff. Like, you know what I mean? Like the gears in here are like simulated, but it's not really doing anything. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's really no gears. That's why I call it the electric vehicle with a combustion engine, because it just takes off. You know what I mean? This is why they said that the 07 Nissan Altima was like freaking CVT Jesus. You know what I mean? Like for the hood ratchet activities, because they so freaking fast. Like instant tap, it just gone, just takes off. And you know, it comes with a side effect of crazy baby moms driving these vehicles. You know, but they're pretty damn cool. They're fun. They're fun as hell to drive. You know what I mean? I would get a newer one. I'm a really huge Nissan Altima fan. I don't like the CVT, but I would get a newer one that's used as a little daily driver. I mean, I would get that over a Toyota Camry. You know what I mean? Because, dude, man, if the car runs good, freaking Toyota's doing CVTs, Honda's doing CVTs, so it really don't matter anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Toyota had the last V6 and the last generation, and honestly, can you even call that a last generation? Because the new 2025 Camry, that car, that's not a redesign, that's a facelift. That was a major facelift. That's all it is. Literally, that's all it is. It's don't let them trick you out the position of y'all wallet, y'all. That's bullshit. Yeah, I got a more fuel efficient hybrid. It's hybrid only now, but that's really all it is. It's a major facelift and it's hybrid only. It's the same car. You know, same bullshit. That's why I'm like, if you really want to get a new car, get you the Toyota Crown. Just spend the money, man. It's not too much more. You know, that's essentially a brand new car because it replaced the Avalon. But the Altima, man, everything is pretty much CVT now. So it's like Nissan pretty much figured it out by now. You know, it does what it does. It ain't nothing special. You know, you can feel the bumps and stuff like that, and you know, it's not crazy. But you know, again, it's a base model and it's not a luxury car. You know what I mean? This is just a little daily driver. You know, gets you around, does what it needs to does. It does its job. You know, so you know, would I recommend a car like this? You know, that's for you to find out. You know, but it's definitely comfortable. I like how comfortable the car is. Cushy seats. You know, they're not American cushy seats. You remember those Buick LeSabres and Chevy Luminas? It had your grandfather's couch in the front. You could lift up the middle console right here, armrest and stuff like that. And you literally mid-size sedans from American brands used to sit 6 people. You could they had a center seat belt just for your waist, a waist seat belt. So it was pretty cool, man. And yeah, it was. I liked it. I loved it. So Nissan Altima, the experience is, you know, 4-cylinder, very reliable 4-cylinder. You know what I mean? These Altimas V6, probably went the V6 SL trim with the Bose audio, and that's what I meant to tell y'all. All SLs came with a Bose audio sound system. This guy's coming. Let's see what he wants.
Bro, I lost my phone in the truck somewhere. Anyway, you can call it for me so I can find it.
I'm on Wi-Fi right now.
Oh, shit.
And I think he on Wi-Fi too.
Alright.
Alright.
Hey, buddy.
It's a hard knock life for us. All of us. Oh, man. And y'all probably grinding me up in the comment section. Why you on Wi-Fi? Because that's my business, god damn it. It get like that though when your stuff falling between the seats. But yeah, man, it's a good car. I like it. I like how it drives. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing special, but it's a Nissan Altima. Altima has an identity. You know, Altima has all the credibility that it gave Nissan. It pretty much was the stable for the brand. You know what I mean? The first thing you think about with a Nissan, you think about a Nissan Altima. Second, you think about a Nissan Maxima. You don't think about a Nissan Sentra. You don't think about a Nissan Rogue. Even now, the Rogue is the #1 selling product from Nissan because it's an SUV. But the first thing that rolls off your tongue and your head, the first thing that rolls through your head and off your tongue, consequently, is Altima. Hey, baby, is you a Nissan? Because I want you all to myself. So let's talk specs, okay, for the Nissan Altima. In order for you to understand the importance of this car and how we got to where we're at right now with the 2015 Nissan Altima, a lot of you like this car. This is probably one of the most popular models, I believe, that was sold. Beating the 2002, which that one, people still love that car. It was very modern for its time. But to get to the point of it, in order for you to understand the history of the Altima and why it is where it's at today, they still make them, you need to understand the history of it and where it all began. So let's take it all the way back to the 1980s, okay? The Nissan Altima did not start off life as the Altima. It started off as the Nissan Stanza. In 1983, Nissan produced the first generation Nissan Altima. It was a replacement for the Nissan Stanza. It was a significant car for Nissan. They specifically built it and designed it for the United States. Why was it a very popular car in the United States? Because they specifically designed it with American in mind. With the American in mind. Remember Lexus, okay? And we're not comparing apples to oranges here, but it's the same story. Toyota, they needed a luxury brand specific to tailor the taste and liking of the American market. So what did they do? Toyota couldn't use their vehicles as premium options because they would look at it like, hey, look, this is still a Toyota here, okay? It's like Hyundai with the Genesis brand. You got the Hyundai Genesis, they look at it, they say, hey, that's still a Hyundai. Until Hyundai decided to take it further up market and section it off as its own brand, Genesis, which is a very major player now with the likes of BMW, Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, you name it, okay? I say that to say that thus the Lexus brand was born, and they specifically made it for the United States. In the lettering, Lexus stood for what? The L stood for luxury, the E stood for export, like the EX stood for export, and US stand for United States. Luxury export United States. That's how the Lexus name was branded. It was so clever. And this was Nissan's intent. They specifically designed it for the US. And greatest decision that they ever made, okay? Targeting American drivers. It had a blend of sportiness, had a blend of practicality. The car's sleek, modern design was a standout feature for its time, and it quickly became a strong contender in the mid-size market, and it still is today, competing against the likes of the Toyota Camry, competing against the likes of the Honda Accord. The only issue that I have with the Altima is the CVT transmission. That's not to say that every CVT was bad, but typically I don't like it because I call the CVT transmission the electric car with a combustion engine. They don't have any gears. If you look at the RPG gauge, the RPM gauge. Why I kept saying RPG? I'm sitting here thinking about Grand Theft Auto right now. But anyway, the RPM gauge, okay? The gears are simulated, but essentially there's no gears. You understand what I'm saying? So it started in 1993 and 1987. It was last year of the first gen Nissan Altima, okay? And they came specifically in 3 trims, okay? A key aspect of the first generation Altima was its powertrain. All trim levels for this generation shared the same engine. Okay, the first one was a 2.4 liter dual overhead cam, 16 valve 4-cylinder engine, also known as the KA240E engine, if y'all know about that. Power output was 150 horsepower at 5,600 RPM. Torque was 154 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM. The engine was paired with either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic transmission. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Nissan Altima came with a manual, okay? Trim levels, okay? You had the XE, which was the entry-level trim. Very bones to the basic, okay? Very basic model. Came with a manual, intermittent wipers, right? It was a no-frills option for those seeking a reliable and affordable sedan. Then you had the mid option, the GXC. This was the mid-level Vios selling trim. Most of the Altimas you've seen were going to be the GXC trim. It was in between the base model and the luxury trim, okay? It added more convenience features, included power windows, a power retracting antenna. Yes, antennas was a very thing back in the day before they had the little shark tail antennas that they have on every car now. But back then, you had the antennas. Some antennas was pretty cool. The ones that automatically rolled up when you opened up when you started the car or something like that. That was pretty cool. I think this was a steady stick. I think it was just a standalone. It didn't retract or detract or whatever. Power attracting antenna. So it did do that. Cool. Pass-through rear armrest, digital clock, color match speaker grills. The SE trim, the sporty trim, the SE included all of the features of the GXC, but it added a stiffer suspension for improved handling, fog lights, rear spoiler, side skirts, and sports seats. Okay. It also came with a 4-wheel disc brakes. Then you had the top of the line luxury trim, the GLE. Positioned as the luxury trim, the GLE offered premium features. This included a heads-up display available in 1983 and 84 that showed speed and other warnings on a windshield. We're talking about a 93 Altima, y'all. Nissan was way ahead of their time. They came to play no games against the big wigs, the major players of Honda and Toyota, essentially blowing the Americans out the park. Automatic digital climate control, keyless entry with an alarm, higher powered 6-speaker audio system. Later models started in 97, had leather seats. They became a standard option on the GLE. And I have a PhD in Altima, ladies and gentlemen, okay? The GLE trim with the next generation Altima was replaced by the SL. The GXE was replaced by the 2.5 S. They literally had 2.5 S as the whole trim printed on the bumper, okay? And then the SC was replaced by that SC. I would like to get my hands on a GLE or SE first trim Altima. I love them. I love them, love them, love them. Argue with your mother. But that was the first generation Nissan Altima. So then we have the second generation Nissan Altima, okay? We're going to go over all of those. So we'll have the information for all of the Nissan Altima for 02 to 2006 with the engine spec, with the powertrain, how much horsepower and what trims, and engine specs per trim. We'll go over that right now. So the second generation, okay, Nissan Altima was produced from 2002 to 2006, and it was a significant departure from its predecessor. It was larger. So the Altima was considered a compact sedan, you dare say, because if you look at the American brands, their cars are way bigger. You could compare the Altima in size to like a Malibu of the mid-90s, okay? When GM first brought back the Chevy Malibu, it was significantly smaller. The Malibu, its predecessor, was more so like a muscle coupe back then, but a lot of things changed for the American brands as well too, as they wanted to bring back these cars. They weren't bringing back the icon for its power. They were bringing back literally just the name, because even the looks of the car wasn't iconic. They just wanted the sales. Altima was not that. Altima was completely modern design and modern innovation, first generation trendsetter, and you know, it kept the other brands on their toes. The Altima would morph into a mid-size sedan, like a nice full mid-size sedan in '02, and they came in 3 trims. The first one was offered with a 175 horsepower, a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. Okay, that was the standard trim in the most trims for the 2.5S and the 2.5 SL. The 3.5 SE came with a 245 horsepower V6 engine. And man, let me tell you, that's the one that my mom had. She had a '02 Nissan Altima 3.5 SE V6 with a spoiler. She had hers custom ordered. It was in this nice, beautiful color, open metallic blue. The Altimas also came with dual exhausts. Dual exhausts, only on the V6 trims. All Nissan Altimas came in either a 5-speed manual or 5-speed automatic, per your choice. Pick your poison. So they didn't come to play, man. They didn't come to play. Around this time, Toyota redesigned their Altima '02. Honda still had the previous gen square body. It was the last gen of the square body. They redesigned theirs in '03 to the bubble body. So it's always that thing where like an automaker catches their redesign the year before, they're knocking out the park with sales. Altima, Nissan didn't come to play. So we're going to go over the trims. The 2.5 base model. This was the entry-level trim with the 2.5 liter engine. Then you had the 2.5S. Then you had the 2.5 SL. Then you had the 3.5 SE. Nissan did not have the 3.5 SL. They just had a 3.5 SE with the SL package. When '05, when they had the facelift, the mid-cycle facelift, the power input went from 240 to 250 horsepower, and then they took it even a step further. They teamed up with Nismo. Nismo was Nissan's sport division, racing division, and they came out with a SER version of the Nissan Altima. Power increase bumped up to 260 horsepower, and those things were literally ticking time bombs. The engines used to blow up on those things. Very rare car, even more rare to catch one in person that's well preserved. I've seen some still on the road. You don't see too many of them, but they're still up there for a nice little price because they're a very rare car to see. They came in automatic and they came in manual. I would like to get one in the manual if that were the case. Then you had the 2007 Nissan Altima. Trims were pretty much the same thing. You had a 200 and I think the power went up to 270 horsepower for the V6 trim. And then you have, this was the last year, the 06 was the last year that they would have an automatic transmission. The 2007 year is when they started the CVT transmission, their first generation of CVT transmission. This is the Altima that you want to stay away from. They made this Altima from 2007 to 2010. They came out with the facelift in 2011 to 2012, and then they redesigned the one that we have right here, 2013. Our model that we have outside is the 2015 model year. Let's get back to the 07 Nissan Altima. For that one, we'll go over all of the trim for the 2007 to 2012 Nissan Altima, trim, powertrain, vehicle specs, and powertrain per trim. The 2007 Nissan Altima, 3rd generation, okay, CVT, like I said, we'll go over that. Same horsepower for the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, 175 horsepower at 5,600 RPM. Manual transmission was also available on that Altima as well too. They made that from 07 to 2012. This is the Altima that I call garbage. You do not want to buy this Altima, y'all. That's not to say that all of them was bad, because my ex, she had a 09 one. It was the V6 model, and I'm the one that helped her. I found it for her. You understand what I'm saying? And it ran great. So that don't mean every single one was bad. And she had it for 3 years. The only way she lost it, she got in a major car accident. So that's the only reason why she lost, because it got totaled. But it ran good. You know, if you could find a good example that run good, they run out of a bat like a bat out of hell. Nissan is nothing in between. Either it runs forever or you're just on borrowed time and it's about to conk because of that CVT transmission. The motors was pretty good. Nissan had a PhD in V6. They used that same motor forever in all of their cars. 2000s was like the biggest era of this V6 that they had. They used it in their Nissan Altima. They used it in their Maxima. They used it in their Nissan 350Z. Of course, they tuned it differently to have different variations of that V6, some with more horsepower. So Nissan knew what they was doing with their V6. They did not come to play with you, MFers. 2013, this is the one that we have right here. We have the 2015 model. We're going to go over that as well too. They continue the CVT transmission. We're going to go over the 2013 Nissan Altima. Once again, powertrain specs, engine specs per trim. Let's get right into it. 2013 Nissan Altima represented the 4th generation of the model, though sometimes referred to as the first year of the 5th generation, depending on the source. It was a major redesign. It got bigger, okay? New, more modern look, a refined interior, and a new generation of the Xtronic CVT for improved fuel economy. They did improve it. The coupe body style was discontinued for this generation. How did I forget to tell y'all that? 2007, Nissan Altima introduced its first generation two-door coupe. This was the 2007 Nissan Altima. This was the birth of the crazy baby moms. If you caught your mom driving a Nissan, your baby mom driving a Nissan Altima, any chick driving an Altima, run, get out the way. No Hellcat and no anybody that's stopping this Altima. Okay, big Altima energy. If you seen a chick driving a Nissan Altima on the road, you get out the way. She's a crazy bitch. She drives crazy. She stabs people. She does all of that. Let me be careful so I don't get demonetized. But anyway, they say your personality, the type of person you are, is based on the car that you buy. So if you have a Ford Explorer, let's say Nissan Pathfinder, Chevy Tahoe, nice sizable vehicle. You know, maybe Chevy Impala. Maybe the Chevy Impala will still be made at the current time that this was brand new when you bought it. You know, you were a cool, laid back dude, chick, you know. But if you bought like a little Corolla or like a freaking Honda Fit or Mitsubishi Mirage, you were miserable with life. You complained and bitched about everything. You didn't like that car. You hated life. So you understand what I'm saying? Nissan Altima just came with, it was just the hood ratchet activity vehicle. This is what I was talking about earlier. Shout out to Blackhawk Guru. He said this in this video. He said the hood ratchet activity started with the Buick LeSabre. Okay, that car was replaced by the Nissan Altima as far as the hood ratchet activities, and it still holds that title to this day. Once again, you see an Altima and there's a chick driving it, get the fuck out the way. Get the fuck out the way. Nissan Altima came in a two-door coupe. Beautiful. Imagine finding that and getting one in the manual. Oh my God. Great engines. They had great engines. But if you know how to drive manual, you're probably going to enjoy the crap out of that Altima. The Nissan Altima also came out with a hybrid. How can we forget about that? That was the big thing. It was the 3rd generation Altima that only came with the hybrid. Only the 3rd generation. Give me the specs about the 2007 Nissan Altima Hybrid. So the 2007 Nissan Altima Hybrid, they debuted that Altima at the auto show. I think it was a New York Auto Show, and it was that teal green color Altima. And they debuted the hybrid trim to show that, hey, we got a brand new Altima that's coming out to play. They came out with their hybrid trim to compete against the Camry hybrid. I'm telling you, Nissan was not coming to play. It was a single trim model. All hybrid versions of Altima share the same specifications. This powertrain was developed in partnership with Toyota, y'all, utilizing a licensed version of their hybrid technology. The Altima Hybrid combined a gasoline engine with an electric motor to provide a balance of power and fuel efficiency. Gas engine was a modified version of Nissan's 2.5 4-cylinder. Horsepower was 158 horsepower. Electric motor was a permanent magnet AC synchronous motor. Okay. it had 40 horsepower to the electric motor. Okay. So the torque from the electric motor alone was 199 pound-feet of torque. So it was already fast, a fast 4-cylinder. So you had a hybrid to it, man. You got yourself a fucking rocket. The hybrid system combined output, which was a key metric for hybrids, was 198 horsepower. They used an eCVT, and that was the sole option for the transmission for the Nissan ALTIMA hybrid. So let me tell you something, man. They had many variants of this, but let's even talk about that. 35 miles per gallon in the city, 33 miles per gallon on a highway. Very nice, compatible numbers. Very compatible numbers for that time. We're talking about 07 here. So how do we get here? The ALTIMA made a name for itself. It became a thing of status for emerging families that couldn't keep up with their car notes. They would hide them in their garages. Tow trucks would chase them down the road. Yeah. This ALTIMA became a thing for the hood. And you will see more ALTIMAs on the road than Toyota Camrys. Argue with your mother. Drop it in the comment section below if you disagree. Look at it. You see more people looking for ALTIMAs than they look for Camrys. I don't care what y'all motherfuckers say. They love Nissan ALTIMAs. I tried selling an 02 ALTIMA and an 02 Maxima. And I was like, the ALTIMA is sold, but I got this 02 Maxima. They didn't want the Maxima. They said because it looked too damn old. Why? Because the 02 Maxima was still a variation of the 97 Maxima. That old square boxy body. It was like the first generation of half box, half curve. It was very old looking, and a facelift. Nissan thought they was getting people with that. Even to this day, today's current generation, whatever the hell this generation is, they not falling for it. They know what it is. They don't even know nothing about cars, and they know that that car looks too damn old. Nissan, you tried it. No. But anyway, 2015 Nissan ALTIMA. We're going to go over the specs of this right here. Give me the engine specs of the Nissan ALTIMA for all of the trims, horsepower, pound-feet of torque for each trim. So for the 2013 all the way up into the 2018 Nissan ALTIMA, the trims are pretty much the same. Could have Shayla read it for you. So let's do that. Let's get Shayla involved. I don't know if Shayla can hear me, but you know, I'm crazy. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to give Shayla a mic too, because Shayla has been on the channel with us for quite some time now.
I'm sorry I couldn't hear Sheila. I'm sure she has a lot to say, and I'm looking forward to hearing from her.
I thought your name was Shayla.
My mistake. I'm Gemini. What would you like to know about Sheila?
You're Gemini, and I am a Gemini. But what I would like for you to tell me is, give us the engine specs for the 2013 to 2015 Nissan ALTIMA, pound-feet of torque, horsepower, engine specs per trim for the 2013 to 2015 Nissan ALTIMA.
Okay, for the 2013 to 2015 Nissan ALTIMA, you've got two engine options to consider. First up is the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, which delivers 182 horsepower. The second option is the peppier 3.5-liter V6, putting out a solid 270 horsepower. Both engines came standard with Nissan's Xtronic CVT transmission. Are there any specific trims you'd like to know more about?
Go over the V6 options.
Sure thing. The V6 option for the 2013 to 2015 Altima was a 3.5-liter engine, and it really packed a punch with 270 horsepower. It was available on the 3.5S, 3.5SV, and 3.5 SL trims. Want to hear more about the differences between those trims?
So for the 2015 Nissan ALTIMA S 2.5, how much horsepower?
The 2015 Nissan ALTIMA S 2.5 has 182 horsepower. It's a solid, reliable engine for everyday driving.
I still want to give you a full around tour. We're just doing the homework right now inside. So when we get outside, we'll just go to all the exterior features. But a lot of you want to know beyond the 2015, because the most beautiful design was the one that they redesigned in 2019 all the way up until now. give us the trim, all the trims, the engine specs for the redesigned Nissan Altima for 2019 all the way up to current 2025. Pound-feet of torque. Let's include that, please. Thank you.
Okay, let's break down the engine specs for the 2019 to 2025 Nissan Altima trims. The base engine is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder, which offers either 188 horsepower with front-wheel drive or 182 horsepower with all-wheel drive. If you're looking for more power, the Senior VC Turbo trim has a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine that delivers 248 horsepower. All trims come standard with a continuously variable transmission. Are there any specific trims you'd like to explore further?
Now, if y'all wanted that horsepower, but you know, you didn't want to, you wanted a V6, you had to settle for the Turbo 4. That's just what it was. Nissan discontinued the V6. I still think that was a big mistake. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. However, you do lose that turbo even after a specific year. Shayla, tell us the very last year Nissan produced that turbo for the 2019 Nissan Altima. What was the last year that they discontinued the turbo engine option?
The last year Nissan produced the turbo engine for the Altima was 2024. For 2025, they're only offering the 2.5-liter engine.
There it is, y'all. They only offer the 2.5-liter engine. So I told y'all, I got a PhD in Nissan Altima. It was one of my favorite Nissans, and it should be yours too. Because as you can see, a lot of them still held up. Y'all talk about Toyota and Honda Accord, but where they at though? And I'm not talking about the ones that's out right now. Of course, they're newer. You got time. I'm talking about that reliability from that 20-year-old Honda or that 20-year-old Camry. How that working out for you? Where that held up? My mom had her Altima held up over 200,000 miles, far over 200,000 miles. She ran that thing through the ringer before it took its last breath. I think did she take it to? It was still running good when she
over 200,000.
It was still running good. Like she took it to. I got you, Shayla. One sec. It took it to Nice to a dealership and the trade it in. You understand what I'm saying? So she drove it there. It wasn't broken down. You understand what I'm saying? It was running perfectly fine.
That's awesome that she was able to trade it in while it was still running well. It sounds like that Altima was a real workhorse. What kind of car did she trade it in for?
You don't want to know that part, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, you know, the Nissan Altima, their V6 is held up well, and that's what she had. She had a V6. Brand new. She had it from 2002 to 2015, and then she ended up getting a Nissan Rogue. That's why I say you don't want to know what she replaced the car with, because I'm not an SUV guy, and you know, Nissan still makes a Sentra. They're about to redesign the Sentra. I don't know what they're doing with the Altima. I don't know the future of the Altima, but it will be a real shame if they discontinue that. Knowing that Hyundai still makes still has the Sonata, knowing that Kia has the K5, which is essentially the Optima replacement. We'll do another video for that. Knowing that, you know, Chevy is killing their Chevy Malibu. This is the last year for it. You know, knowing that Honda still makes their Accord and they plan on redesigning their Accord. You know what I mean? Toyota's still making a full-size sedan, the Toyota Crown that replaced the Avalon. So it would be a really shame if Nissan took a perfect financial marketing car for the masses. Everybody loves the Altima. Everybody thinks of Nissan, the first car to think about is the Altima. Just like with the Toyota, the first thing to think about that slips off, that rolls off, smooth off the tongue, pause, is the Camry. The first thing they think about is a Honda, is an Accord. The Altima has identity for the brand. The Altima has brand identity. Without the Altima, there is no Nissan. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. There is the review on the 2015 Nissan Altima 2.5S. Okay. And we went over all of the exterior features. We went over the interior features. Okay. We did a full inside review on the history of the Nissan Altima, how it started life as, where it stands today. They still make these cars today. Beautiful cars, man. Nissan, don't get rid of the Altima, man. That'll be a dumb mistake. And we also did a test drive. We went over all of the engine specs, Transmission, we went over that. The controversial transmission. It's the hate it or love it. And with that said, now it is time to give this car the Blackhawk report card. Time to grade it down to the T. Let's get it. All right, so as far as design, I gave it a strong 7. Compared against the rivals, I actually would have scored the rivals much lower compared to this year. I think the closest thing that came to the Nissan ALTIMA in terms of design was the Buick Regal, believe it or not. Buick Regal was a very beautiful design. I actually owned the car myself. I also had the 2011 Kia Optima, and they made that design all the way up to 2014. But the Nissan, I think, really tops them all as far as like an original curvaceous design. The Kia Optima was probably the closest thing to it. Very beautiful design, curvaceous flow throughout the vehicle. Like whoever had that paintbrush, y'all did y'all thing. So I'll give it a strong 7 as far as the design. And this was the first generation of Gen 4 Altima that marked the identity of Nissan design language. Again, I said it became Audi. It became the Audi of Nissans. You know what I mean? It became the Audi of the economy car. Every Nissan had the same design language. The Sentra, the Altima, the Maxima. I was very impressed with the design when they first redesigned this. I remember it like it was yesterday. So 7 for that. Features wise, I gave it a 6. And that's just being nice, because this was the bare bones base model. Okay. Very rare features that you don't see on a bare bones base model. This thing didn't even have a backup camera. Okay. You had higher trim levels that had a small screen backup camera. This didn't even have that, but it did come standard with Bluetooth. Okay. That's a plus. It came standard with remote start of all things, chrome door handles, and dual exhaust tips. You can't beat that on the bare bones Nissan Altima. We're talking about something that's what in the low 20,000, mid 20,000s, mid to late 20,000s. You can't beat that as far as features that come standard. Remote start. So as features wise, and it had turn signals on the mirrors for an S-trim bare bones base model. You got to get that a strong score right there. So 6 out of 10 for that. Fun factor. There's no fun factor in this car. It's a base model. Okay. At the end of the day, it's not the V6. Okay. So it's the 4-cylinder. So, and made it to a CVT, you know, I got to give that a 5 out of 10. So comfort was definitely there. You know, again, it's the base model. It's not the one with the leather seats, heated leather, stuff like that. So, you know, but, you know, it's a sizable car, so you're going to be comfortable just based on the size. So I'll give that a 5 out of 10. Acceleration, I'll give that a 5 out of 10 because the, again, it's a 4-cylinder. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the V6 model. Handling, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Again, it's not a sports car. Definitely is not a dud, but it's not a sports car either. You know what I mean? So the handling was okay. You know what I mean? I thought the older model, the 07 one, was a lot better as far as the handling. And that's probably because the car grew in size. You know what I'm saying? So 5 out of 10. Crazy stutter just now. Engine wise, I want to give that a 6 out of 10 because the engines were pretty good on Nissan. Nissan, for the most part, knew what they were doing with their engines. Okay. However, the controversial part about the Nissan was the transmission. So I want to give that a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 in this particular car because it wasn't a dud. You understand what I'm saying? It was a good transmission. And Nissan improved their CVT transmission around this time. They were still controversial. I just came across a good example of it. So like I said, either the transmission will last you forever or it will be a dud. I came across one that was a good one. So you will have this for a very long time. Strong transmission. So 5 out of 10. Okay. It's not nothing special. Quality, I give it a 7 out of 10. Why? Because this is a 10-year-old car. This held up very, very well. No rust on the car. No rust on the car. Good quality control. No gaps and from the panels and stuff like that. None of that. Very good attention to quality. Nissan used to have garbage paint. If you look at the 02 Altimas, a lot of those started rusting at the, not rusting, like fading of the paint on the hood, the roof, the trunk, same spot from 02 to 06. They did improve on that when they got to the 07 model. I'm starting to see some of the 07 ones doing the same thing, but they definitely worked on that in the 2013 model year. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. As far as practicality, okay? Practicality here, I give it a 6 out of 10 because it was a very spacious trunk. You had your standard compartment for the arm console, very deep arm console, and the freaking, oh my God, the freaking glove compartment. You could fit a mini safe in that thing, how big it was. It pushed all the way to the back. It made you wonder if it was a damn engine in the car. So, you know, it was plenty of space. This car has 60-40 split. You can fold the seats down. So definitely plenty of cargo room if you need to store some stuff. If you want to do some moving, and you know what I mean? I remember when I first moved to Delaware, I moved everything in my Lexus. I couldn't fold the seats down. Imagine if I had the Altima, I would have had that much space. I only had to make 2 trips in the Lexus. You can imagine I didn't take any bed or furniture and stuff like that. And no moving truck, but yeah. So the practicality is definitely there for a mid-size sedan. I was very impressed with that. So I will give that a 6 out of 10. Overall value, I give it a 7 out of 10. And that's just being nice. Because at the end of the day, it's not the V6. It's not fully loaded. They had at the top trim level, you got navigation, Bose audio, sound system. You got all of those features in the car. You know what I mean? But as far as you getting things like Bluetooth, dual exhaust tips, push button start, you know, that came standard anyway, but remote start, that is what really caught my attention. Turn signals on the mirror caps, you know, stuff like that on a bare bones base model. You know, if you compare that to the competition, the Altima had those features standard. You just, you know, remote start, let's just put it right there. You're not finding that on the Camry. You're not finding that on the Accord. I'm not quite sure of the Malibu, of the base model. I had a rental car before. Yeah, I actually had the rental car before. No, you're not finding that on the base model either. So, Nissan was first in class when it had those features for a base model. Very impressed. So overall value, and they still hold up. You can get a nicely equipped quality one for exactly what they're asking for, $4,500. Again, if you want to do that, you can reach out to Buy This Car ASAP. You're going to enter in the code Blackhawk in their DM, and they'll give you a nice sizable discount. Get it while it's hot before it gets sold. So with that being said, we got an overall total score of 64 out of 100, which gives the car a C for our Blackhawk report card. This car would have scored so much higher. Here's my opinion. I really recommend this car, but in my personal opinion, you know, if you want one that's fun to drive, you know, if you want one that got some power, even though the 4-cylinder has some power, it is still a 4-cylinder. My personal opinion, I just go for the V6. Just go. You already lost with the transmission. The least you could do is get the damn V6.
Kind of makes me wonder why the hell so many people are trying to tell me to slow down. Seems like motherfuckers should be shutting the hell up and enjoying the show.